What if I told you that love isn't always about destiny? Sometimes, it's a game of power. A game where persistence wins, but at what cost? This is the untold story of how one man moved mountains for love, but was it really love, or just dangerous obsession? In the heart of an African town, where traditions run deep and love is a battlefield, one man was willing to risk everything. Chiku, a powerful businessman, had it all: wealth, influence, and charm. Everything except the one woman he wanted. Her name was Adana. Stunning, strong-willed, and completely uninterested in Chiku's advances. To her, love was something pure, not a transaction. But what happens when love is not given, but pursued relentlessly? This is the beginning of a story that will make you question everything you thought you knew about romance. She was a woman who knew what she wanted. She wasn't one to be impressed by wealth or power. But what happens when a man who has everything sets his sights on the one thing he cannot have? She won't even look your way, his friend teased. But Chiku wasn't the kind of man who took no for an answer. To him, every locked door just needed the right key. It started as curiosity, then fascination, then something darker. Chiku wasn't just interested in Adana, he needed her. And what does a man do when he needs something? He finds a way to get it. Every woman had a price. At least, that's what Chikeyech believed. The only question was, what was Adana's? Chiku made his first move. A brand new car. A blank check. A promise that he would take care of her forever. But Adana, she didn't even open the envelope. "Tell your boss that I am not for sale," Adana said in a polite way. For the first time in his life, Chiku heard the word no. But instead of walking away, he made a promise. A dangerous one. Rejection didn't make Chiku give up. It made him more determined. If wealth wouldn't work, he had to find another way. And that's when he found it, her greatest weakness. She may not care about money, but she cared about her family. And sometimes, love isn't given. It's leveraged. If money couldn't win her heart, maybe fate could. That night, the heavens raged, and Adana found herself stranded. But fate had other plans, or so she thought. "Let me take you home," he said, his voice smooth as silk. For the first time, Adana hesitated. Maybe, just maybe, he wasn't as bad as she thought. What she didn't know was that from the moment she stepped into his car, her life would never be the same again. "I admire you, Adana. You're not like other women," he said. His words were soft, almost hypnotic. And for the first time, she found herself listening. Was she wrong about him? Could a man like Chiku truly love a woman like her? But just as doubt crept into her mind, a single sentence shattered everything. That night, Adana walked into her home, her heart pounding. Something told her this was only the beginning. Because men like Chiku, they never take no for an answer. But what happens next? Does Chiku's obsession push him too far? Or does Adana fall for his relentless charm? The answer lies in part 2, where love meets its greatest test yet. If you think you know how this story ends, think again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to catch the next chapter of Love in Every Word. Some say love is a choice. Others say it's fate. But for Adana, love felt like a trap. She had just stepped out of Chiku's car, but she didn't realize she had already stepped into his world. And there was no way out. She had never been drawn to men with money. She had always believed in love that was pure, honest, simple. But now, something was happening, something dangerous. Chiku was making her think. And that was the first step toward falling. But no, she wouldn't fall for him. She couldn't. She had responsibilities, her sick brother, her business. She didn't have time for games. But what happens when the very thing you reject is the only thing that can save you? Chiku wasn't a man who gave up. He knew how to play the long game. And this time, he had a new plan. The message came with just 5 words: for your brother's hospital bills. He didn't ask for anything in return. No conditions. No demands. But was that really true? Or was this just another way to draw her in? Adana, do you know what this means? He's serious about you. But that was the problem. Chiku wasn't just serious. He was dangerous. She didn't want to meet him. But refusing twice, that wasn't wise. And so, she went, if only to tell him to leave her alone. You didn't have to send the money, she said, sitting across from him. But Chiku only smiled. I didn't do it for you, he said. I did it because I care. Every word, every look, it felt calculated. And yet, beneath it all, there was something else. Something real. She realized too late, this wasn't just dinner. This was a statement. A public declaration. Chiku wasn't just winning her over. He was showing the world that she belonged to him. She was furious. But the damage was done. Now, everyone thought they were together. And maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as angry as she should have been. Why did she care what people thought? Why did she feel something every time she looked at him? This wasn't love, was it? And suddenly, she knew. This wasn't just romance. This was possession. But just when she thought Chiku was her biggest problem, someone else was watching her. Someone who wanted to make sure she never belonged to him. Love. That was just the beginning. Because what Adana didn't know was that her heart was not the only thing at risk. The game is just beginning. Will Adana escape the pull of Chiku's world? Or is there something far more dangerous waiting for her? Find out in part 3. Like, comment, and subscribe. Because this story is far from over. They say love finds you when you least expect it. But for Adana, love didn't just find her. It chased her. It knocked on her door, sent her gifts, wrote her letters, and even embarrassed itself in public, all for the sake of winning her heart. And now, the final question remained, was Chiku just persistent, or had he truly, madly fallen in love? Adana was used to Chiku's grand gestures. But nothing prepared her for this. Chiku had officially lost it. Who hires a plane just to confess love? Apparently, a man who refused to take no for an answer. If sending a plane wasn't enough, Chiku decided to send a goat. A very expensive, very apologetic goat. Adana, I have sent you the most loyal animal I could find because I, too, am loyal to you. Unlike men, goats never lie. Please don't break both of our hearts. Just when Adana thought he couldn't get more ridiculous, Chiku decided to do the impossible. I love you in Hausa. I love you in Swahili. I love you in Yoruba. I love you in Zulu. He even tried French. And every time he mispronounced a word, the crowd laughed, but he kept going. He didn't just want to tell her he loved her. He wanted to tell the whole world. Adana had spent so much time resisting. But now, she had to ask herself, was she really fighting him? Or was she fighting herself? And suddenly, she realized the truth. She had already fallen. She just didn't want to admit it. One message. One moment. That was all it took. Because when a woman chooses to love you, nothing else matters. No words were needed. She didn't have to say yes. The way she looked at him said everything. And just like that, the love he fought for, the love he never gave up on, became his. Sometimes, love is complicated. Sometimes, it takes time. But one thing is certain, when love is true, it always finds its way home. Was Chiku's love story worth the wait? Would you have given him a chance? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unforgettable African love stories.